Learning new words. On Wednesday, I go to school. At the start of the lesson, one student asks a question. I started reading more. It is good for me. I can see that my grammar is better. But I have a problem. When I read and find a new word, I look it up in a dictionary. Then I continue reading. But later, when I see the same word again, I do not remember it. I have to look it up again. Can you help me remember words better? Our teacher smiles and says, "That is a good question." She explains that it is normal not to remember a new word immediately. Usually, you need to see a word 5 times before you remember it. Some words, like verbs, take longer. You may need to see them 10 or 15 times. New words go through 5 stages before you remember them well. The first time you see the word, you do not know it. You look it up in the dictionary. The second time, you remember seeing the word, but you do not remember the meaning. The third time, you feel you know the meaning, but you're not sure. The fourth time, you know the meaning when you see the word, but you cannot use it when speaking. The fifth time, you can use the word when speaking. Now you see why it is hard to remember a new word the first time you see it. You must see or hear the word many times. You can feel happy not only when you learn a word perfectly, but also when you move to the next stage. Every step brings you closer to speaking fluently. A student says, "This is very interesting. I often look up a word and then forget it later. Now I know it is okay. I just need to see the word more times." After school, I go to football practice. Our coach tells us there is a match on Saturday. The school team will play against another school. The coach asks me to play. I feel very happy and excited about the match. How to improve listening. The next day, at school, a student asks another question. How can I improve my listening skills? What is the best way? Our teacher says, "That is a good question." Listening is very important for communication. If you do not understand people, it is hard to speak with them. She explains that there are 2 types of listening materials. Audio, like podcasts or audiobooks. Videos and movies, like films or YouTube videos. If you listen to audio, you should know at least 95% of the words. If there are too many new words, read the text first. Look up new words in the dictionary. When you listen, focus on understanding the message. If you watch a movie, first watch it with subtitles to understand story. Then, watch it again without subtitles. The more you watch, the more you will understand. You can also watch videos about topics you like. If you love nature, watch nature documentaries. Reality shows are also good because they're easier to understand than movies. Try to listen to English for at least 30 minutes every day. At first, you may understand only 10%, but that is better than 0%. Keep listening, and soon you will understand more and more. The student says, "Thank you. Now I know how to improve my listening." Motivation to learn English. On Friday, our teacher asks, "Do you remember why you started learning English? What made you want to learn?" I answer, "At first, English was very difficult for me. I did not like it. I did not understand grammar. I tried to learn words, but it was hard. After high school, I could not speak English well. I thought I could never learn. Then something happened. I love music. When I was 20, I started listening to an English band. I wanted to understand the lyrics. So, I started translating their songs. Little by little, I understood more. Then, I met 2 tourists from another country. We had a simple conversation. That moment made me believe I could learn English. After that, I started studying every day, and I improved a lot. Our teacher says, "That is very interesting. At first, you had no motivation. Then, you wanted to understand music. Motivation is important. If you have motivation, you can learn. If you do not have motivation, it is hard." Then, our teacher asks other students about their motivation. One student wants to read history books in English. Another wants to be a tennis coach. A woman wants to work in an international company. Everyone has a reason to learn English. At the end of the lesson, our teacher says, "If you like English, it is easier to learn. Find something you enjoy: music, culture, books, or history. If you want to communicate in English, you should learn about 3,000 words. If you do not enjoy English, it will be harder to reach this level." I agree. Now, I like music, my teacher, and my English-speaking boss. I also like English humor. It is easier for me to study English every day. On Saturday, I play football for my school team. We have good players, and we win 3-2. We are very happy and celebrate our victory. How to learn 3,000 words. The next lesson, a student asks, where can I find the most important 3,000 words? Our teacher says, you can find lists of the most common words on the internet. But learning words from a list is not the best way. Words in a list are not in a story, so it is harder to remember them. She explains, simple words like mother and dog are easy to learn because you can see them. But words like decide or opinion are harder. Many students try to learn English by memorizing lists. This works for the first 1,000 words. But after that, you need a better way. The best way is to learn words from sentences. When you understand the meaning and context, it is easier to remember. Reading is a great way to learn. For beginners, the book Robinson Crusoe in Simple English is very good. You can find this book online. Every important word will come back to your life again and again. This is how we learn our first language as children. We do not study word lists. We hear words many times in real life. For example, the word Google is new. You did not learn it from a list. You heard it many times, and now you know it. This is how you should learn English words, by reading and using English every day. The student says, that makes sense. Thank you. How to understand different accents. On Tuesday, something interesting happens at work. A man and a woman come into the cafe. The man speaks English, but I do not understand him. I think he wants something we do not have. So, I ask my boss for help. She understands him and sells him 2 coffees and 2 sandwiches. After they leave, I tell my boss, I am sorry. I did not understand him. She says, it is okay. He has a different accent. They are from Scotland. The next day, I tell my teacher about this. I say, I felt stupid. I thought my English was not good enough. She says, you understand English in your country, but the Scottish accent is new for you. Your ears need time to learn it. If you go to a place with a different accent, it takes about 2 weeks to understand. Keep listening to different accents, and you will improve. I ask, what can I do if I do not live in Scotland? Our teacher says, you can watch movies with different accents. Scottish English, or you can watch funny shows from Scotland. Soon, you will understand. I say thank you and go to work after school. At 4 o'clock, 2 interesting customers come to our cafe. They are not from Scotland. They are visitors from another country. They want to buy coffee. They are 2 women, and their English is very simple. My boss serves them. When she hears they do not speak English well, she does something interesting. She changes her English. She speaks in short sentences with only 3 or 4 words. The 2 women understand her. They buy 2 coffees, 2 sandwiches, and 2 cakes. They are happy. My boss is happy too. When they leave, I tell my boss it was nice how she changed her English. My boss says sometimes she must use simple English. It does not matter if customers speak English well or not. They are customers, and we must help them. If they feel comfortable, they will come back to our cafe. I think my boss is very smart. She does everything to make customers happy. It is true. Our cafe is always busy. If you want to understand people with a special accent, listen to their English for some time. Do what you can at your level. The next day, I tell my teacher about my boss and the 2 women. My teacher says, your boss is very clever. People who speak English well can talk with beginners. Today, we will talk about English levels. 1,000 words level. At this level, students can talk about simple things in daily life. They use short sentences, usually with 4 words. If both people use short sentences, they can have a basic conversation. 2,000 words level. Conversations are easier. Sentences are longer. You can talk about family, hobbies, work, and travel. Sometimes, deep conversations are hard, but this level is good for daily English. 3,000 words level. With 3,000 words, you can talk about many topics. You can learn more words, but 3,000 is usually enough for communication. I think the 2 women at the cafe knew about 1,000 words. My boss spoke at their level, so they understood her. After school, I go to work. The 2 women come back with 2 friends. This time, I serve them. I use simple sentences, and they understand me. This is great. They tell me they are tourists from Japan. They like our cafe because people understand them here. How to stop feeling shy. On Thursday, one student asks our teacher, I am shy when I speak English. Can you help me? Our teacher says, It is normal to feel shy when speaking a new language. We do not know everything, so we might make mistakes. I was also shy when I learned a new language. My face turned red when I made mistakes. But now, I only care about communication. I make mistakes, but I keep speaking. She adds, if you speak English, you already have value. You know 2,000 words. You have come from 0 to 2,000 words. Be proud. Some students think they must speak like a native speaker. They want perfect grammar and no mistakes. But this is too hard. It is not necessary. You're great because you speak some English. Keep learning, and step by step, your shyness will go away. Another student says, sometimes I want to say something, but I do not know the word. Then I stop and feel stupid. Our teacher says, if you do not know a word, try to describe it. This is an important skill. For example, if you do not know the word key, you can say a small thing for opening a door. Do you need talent to learn a language? On Friday, we have a new student, Sophia, from Argentina. She says, I'm not good at learning languages. My sister learns English fast, but I find it hard. Our teacher asks, do you think you have a talent for learning languages? Raise your hand if you do. Nobody raises their hand. Our teacher smiles and says, you all have talent. You learned your first language. That means you can learn another one, too. She continues, some people learn languages very fast. Maybe Sophia's sister is one of them. But we do not need to compare ourselves to them. Everyone is different. Maybe you're better at cooking, sports, or music. That is okay. You are talented too. These words help me. I know I am good at football and tennis. Now, I know I can learn English too. How to speak fluently. On Monday, our teacher asks about Friday's school party. A student says, the party was great. We had fun. The girls liked it too. I liked the party because Sophia was there. We talked and danced. 2 boys from my football team were also there. They are from Brazil. Their English is basic with short sentences, but they are very funny. They made jokes about life in England and our football team. Even with simple English, they spoke fluently. I tell my teacher, some people know many words but do not speak fluently. But the boys from Brazil used what they knew and spoke well. Our teacher says, fluent speaking does not mean perfect grammar. It means speaking without long pauses. Some people can do this with 1,000 words, others with 2,000 words. But some know 3,000 words and still struggle. The key to fluency is practice. She explains, speaking is like playing an instrument. If you want to play the violin, you must practice your fingers. If you want to speak well, you must practice speaking. Some students know many words but cannot speak. When they talk to a foreigner, they forget the words. But later, they remember them. Why? Because they do not practice speaking. If you want to speak fluently, practice for at least 30 minutes a day. If you do not have a partner, talk to yourself aloud. Train your brain and mouth together. A student says, that makes sense. If we want to speak fluently, we must practice every day.